Hi everyone, my name is Azalise. I'm a French content creator, and this is my story. I was born with sickle cell. For people who don't know sickle cell, I will put a small paragraph that explains it, but let me break it to you with my word. You see your red blood cell. Normally, they're round. Okay, that's normal red blood cell for people that are not sick. But for people that have sickle cell, the red blood cells, they're not round. They're like croissant, okay? They're like half moon. And when they try to navigate into your bloodstream, it gets stuck. And when it gets stuck, the oxygen cannot flow correctly. So it will give you pain, a lot of pain in your body. It can be anywhere because they can get stuck anywhere. In your arm, in your foot, in your leg, even in your brain. And when it stuck, I had a lot of pain. And this pain is evaluated as 10 times as the pain of giving birth. So imagine the pain of giving birth, then multiply it by 10. That was the pain that I had. I was diagnosed with sickle cell when I was 4 months, 3 months. I had a crisis when I was 5 months. I don't remember them. It's my mom. She said like your hand used to be like so red and whatever. So I lived with sickle cell my whole life. At first, it was okay because every sickle cell patient is different. For people like you will have crisis and pain all the time. For others, you can do stuff and like live with it. And for 13 years of my life, I've lived with it and it was fine. I was doing sport, I was playing with my friend, I was going to do checkup at the hospital. I had a treatment, but everything was fine. Like I was fine. And then when I was 13, something changed in my body and I just felt pain. I had this first big crisis where I ended up in the hospital. I was 12. I was 12 for that one. And I was like, it was so weird to me. I was like, Mom, like, what's happening? And as a child, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was like, oh, I'm receiving gifts because I'm in the hospital. So I was like kind of happy. And then I went back home and everything was like okay. But then I had this crisis when I was 13. And from then, the crisis just kept happening. And for me, it was every 2 months. Every 2 months, I had a crisis. It was in my arm, in my leg. When it was in my leg, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk to go to the toilet. I couldn't shower. I couldn't do anything. So, I will always be at the hospital because I needed a strong painkiller, strong drugs. Okay. I was like sedated. I was like like a vegetable. And we moved. I was living in France near Paris, and we moved to the other side of France. And I was 15, and they saw my case, so they were like trying every treatment on me that you can have for sickle cell, and none of them was working. And when you're 15 and you gotta take a lot of treatment, a lot of drugs, it's starting to be heavy on the mental health. And it was coming to a point where I even didn't want to take this treatment because I was getting sick of it. I was like, why can't I be a normal kid? Why can't I enjoy my life? Because it was like one day I'm good, I can do everything in the world, I could become a president, and the next day I'm on a hospital bed fighting for my life just because my body let me down. It was so annoying. So I was exhausted. I was crying to God, like, because I had this fire inside of me, like, I want to live. I don't want to die. Because, you know, when the doctors look at you, they're like, oh, that one, she's not gonna make it. Like, so I was like, I want to live my life to my full potential. I want to become someone great. But how can I see past that when there's my body who's failing me all the time? When each time I just run a little bit, or I just to take something heavy, or I'm stressed, or then poof, a crisis would just happen to me like that. And when it is crisis, automatically hospital, because mine were like too much, or like, just, it was so painful. It's like someone was driving over me times and times. It's like people were cracking my bones. I don't know how to describe it for you to understand the kind of pain that I was in, but I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So I had this crisis. I was missing school. And then when I was 17, I had that huge crisis that put me in a coma. Because I told you, red blood cell that are stuck can get stuck anywhere. And usually it was my arm or my leg. Okay, my arm, I cannot move my arm. My leg, I cannot move my leg. But when it's stuck in my brain, I did, well, we call it in French, I will put the English word. J'ai fait un AVC. And when I had this crisis that led me to that, it was so weird, because that day I remember I just got out of the hospital because of a crisis. So I was like, when I got out of the hospital after a crisis, I spend like 1 or 2 weeks in the hospital. Then I go out, I can go back home. So I eat and I do my makeup because I want to feel pretty again, because I spent 2 weeks in the hospital not eating, looking like a vegetables. I want to look good and I want to see my friend. I want them to know that I'm okay, that I'm a normal human being. So I went back at home. I did my makeup. I rest a little bit. And then I was like, Mom, I'm out. I'm going to see a friend. And she was like, no, but like, it's cold, because during winter, we are like, the crisis can come faster because we don't hold winter. Sickle cell people, winter is not for us. Winter, we stay home. But I wanted to go out to see my friends. So I went out. And when I came back, I felt pain in the back. So, okay, I was like, I'm gonna try to handle it at home because I cannot go back to hospital. I just came back from hospital. So I tried to handle it. I took painkiller, nothing is working. And I was fainting. Coming back, coming. I was like, what's going on? I couldn't think, I couldn't move. And I just started to pray. I said, God, help me, because this crisis is different. I feel like death is over me. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying more than usual. Please, Lord, I don't want to die. Please save me. Please save me. I was praying like that. And then I just fell asleep. And that night, my parents were on the road to Paris because they had a family thing that was really important. And so they left me with my big sister. And my big sister, seeing in what state I was, said, oh no, I'm calling the ambulance. So she called them and they were like, oh, at least back at it again, in a funny and trying to cheer me up. But I was just like numb, like a vegetable. I can just remember some small flashback, not everything that happened that night. I just know that I went to the hospital. My sister was there trying to feed me and then blackout. I can't remember anything. So apparently there was a nurse that appreciated me, and she wanted to take some of my blood. And she knows that when she want to take some of my blood, she has to put me some sedative that will make me, fall asleep and make me forget that she's putting a needle in my arm. And when she came during the middle of the night saying, Azalis, sorry, we gotta take your blood because we need to do some tests, she saw that I didn't reply. And she wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to take the blood and go. She's sleeping. It's fine. She was like, no, I need to wake her up. So she tried to wake me up and she saw that I didn't wake up. So I was in a coma for 3 days, fighting for my life. And when I wake up, I was in that white room with a bandage all over my head. And I saw my mom and I was like, Mom, what are you doing here? Aren't you in on your way to Paris? Because for me, we were still that night, like not 3 days had passed. And then like she explained it to me and I couldn't move, eat, talk clearly. It was very, very difficult for me. I was only 17 years old. The doctor said to my mom that it was complicated for me to like even walk again and do certain things because I was like pretty affected by that coma. And of course, my parents, they pray. My dad prayed for me. My mom prayed for me. And me, when I saw myself, I was like, I look like Frankenstein. I'm scared of myself. I lost so much weight. I was skinny, like skinnier than a skinny, I was so skinny. My brain, because they had to do surgery because of the coma. So after the stroke, they shaved half of my hair, you know, for them to operate me. And I was like, my hair, my hair. I was just crying about my hair, crying about my weight, crying about how I didn't recognize me. And after that, the doctors were like, Azalis, you scared the hell out of us. We are trying to propose you a surgery. And it's actually a transplant bone marrow that we're going to propose you. And obviously, none of my siblings were compatible. So they were like, we're going to take a risk, but we're going to take your mother. I was like, what? I did a haplo-identical bone marrow transplant because my mother was only 50% compatible with me. So we didn't have like one chance. We had half of a chance that this will work. And they were like, no, we need to do the protocol. We're going to do a national protocol for you, for your case. We're going to go to Paris, talk to other doctors, but we are doing you that transplant, haplo-identical transplant, bone marrow. And I was so scared because in order for me to do that transplant, I had to go through chemotherapy. I was only 17 years old when they told me that. I was going on my 18th birthday. And all I could think about was my hair. What about my hair? What about my weight? I didn't want to look bad. That was the only thing I could think of. Because that's the only thing that I thought I had. But I was actually so strong and I had actually so much more than that. But at that time, I could only think of that. And then, of course, my mom said yes to do the transplant. Of course, she was so positive about it. She was like, this is God, trust me, this is God. Even the doctor, they were like, okay, we are not sure 100% that it's going to work, but that's the only thing we got for you, because if you do another crisis, we don't know if you're going to survive that one. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Fuck it. So I had to go. It was, normally I was supposed to do the surgery earlier, but COVID came and they were like, oh my God, we don't know if we're going to do it because there's COVID. And I remember my doctor said, COVID, no COVID, we are doing Azalis that transplant. So September 2020, Azalis entered the hospital for chemotherapy. I do a 1 week chemotherapy. That's the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I even got goosebumps. That's the worst thing I've ever done. I went through chemotherapy. My hair fell off. I was skinny. I wasn't eating. So then I went into that white room. So after the chemotherapy, I was placed in an isolation room to keep any bacteria, any, stuff from me, because I had just gotten chemotherapy. So I had no immune system. I was just like a baby that was born. So I was in that isolation room. My parents couldn't come, siblings, friends, nobody could come and see me. I stayed in that room from middle of September to middle of December. So 4 months, 3 to 4 months in the hospital. First week that I did in that room, they started the transplant. So the transplant was about 8 hours, if I remember correctly. And then you have to stay in that room to see if your body is going to accept the cells that is receiving, because chemotherapy helps destroy your own cell, because my own cells were bad. So chemotherapy helped destroy my own cells, and then we have to place new cells into my body. Super cell. So they placed the cells on my mother and they waited for me, for how my body's going to react, because your body can reject it. And if it's your body rejects it, it's bad. So by God's grace, my body accepted it. But it was really weird. Like, I was weak. Honestly, it was the darkest time of my life. But also, I felt so blessed because I had it. Do you know what I mean? So I stayed for 4 months. They waited until my body fully accepted it. And even when you leave that hospital, you have to wait a year, because your body still has a year until it cannot reject it anymore. So you have to wait for a year to be sure, 100% sure. And let me tell you this, between those times when I had the transplant, the chemotherapy, waited the year, I did not tell anybody. I didn't have lovers. I did not tell my friends, unless my closest friend, two of my friends knew, but that's it. I didn't tell nobody. I said that this battle is for me to fight. It's for me and my God to fight. So I'm not telling anybody. We're talking about my health. We're talking about, this was so important to me. So I deleted social media. I think that I only had TikTok at that time. I deleted all my social media. And it was just me, hospital room. Then when I got out, I couldn't see anybody because, you don't want to get infection or anything. So I just stayed home. Mom was cooking for me. You cannot eat everything after that. So she was cooking for me. I had this nutritionist. I had this person who came, those nurses who came into home to check up on me. I had kinesiotherapy, to have my muscles get back, because spending 4 months in a hospital bed was hard for me. It was hard for me to climb the stairs, to even walk. So, I had to try to redo and learn how to redo all of that. So I did. And this, we are 4 years, yes, 4 years after my recovery. This is me now. And I thank God, first of all, to have placed such beautiful and experimented nurses, doctors, surgeons into my way. And I'm thankful because now I'm fully recovered of that sickle cell issue, and I'm nice and well, and I'm talking to you, and I have health. I've not been once in the hospital for a crisis or whatever. They changed my genotype. I was SS, so bad sickle cell patient. Now I took the genotype of my mother, which is AS, and the A is better than S. So No more crisis for me. My health is good. I'm having a checkup every 6 months, of course, and I'm good. So I'm giving you my testimony in 2026 to tell you that even in the darkest time, God knows what He's doing, and there's still hope, and you have to hold on to the power that's within you. I had to hold on to my power, because even if everyone around you is like caring for you and wish you the best, at the end of the day, it's you and you, it's your life, and you need to be strong. You need to be willing to take some risks. You need to be willing to hold on to that life, hold on to the promise of God that He has something better for you. And that's what was His plan for me. And I didn't know. When I did that prayer that God, I want to leave, when I was 17, I didn't know that it would take 5 years for me to get there. 5 years for me to have health. I didn't know at that time, but I did that prayer. So honestly, I'm here to tell you that 2026 is going to be a great year for all of us. That you need to hold on to the power that's within you, that you are stronger than you think you are. You are stronger than you think you are. I was stronger than I think I was. I'm stronger than I think I am. You're stronger than you think you are. And it's important to remember that. 2026, here we are. We are getting stronger. We are getting better. We are getting healthier. We are getting richer. Okay. So please leave a positive comment of what you want to see for 2026. And come back here by the end of 2026. Please do. Please do. We all leave a positive comment, a positive about your life. Speak good out of your life. Speak good. Okay? Because it's in the tongue that the power is, that the power of life and death is. It's in your tongue. I prayed for my life. I said, God, I want to live. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I want to live. I want to be healthy. I want to be a content creator. You know that I've wanted to be a content creator since I was 12. I was filming myself. But because I was sick, I was never be like, oh, I'm going to post some video, then going to the hospital. I don't want people to see that side of me. So I waited. I waited for my time. All of us have our own time. Okay? My time is not your time. It's not her time. God's time is not our time. So hold on to that positive thought, positive word that you speak into your life. It's so important, please, I swear. It's so important. So don't think that you're too small, or don't think less of yourself. Okay, you are someone great. You are going to do big things, great things, good things. And that's what I want to see for 2026. So I'm going to keep posting for 2026, post my journey. You're going to see now how I go from sickle cell patient to content creator. Okay? You're going to see my journey. I'm so happy. And have a nice new year. Start well your year. And I'm so glad that we are starting together. Please don't forget to leave a like, to share this video to someone who needs it, to someone who needs strength and hope and positive in his life or in her life. Don't forget to leave your comments below, a positive comment of something that you want to see in 2026. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to release some video from sickle cell patient to content creator. Okay, we're gonna make it together this year. And make sure to follow me also on Instagram and TikTok. I love you all. Have a great new year. Bisous. You don't really call on me like